morning. Now we are studying the second important part of our, you can say the biology, which involves the physiology in case of human beings. As I told you in the beginning, the physiology includes the different lessons from your 11th standard as well as from your 12th standard. As far as your 11th standard topics are there are two lessons are involved. One is called as the nutrition in human beings, or you can say the digestion in case of human beings. The second lesson we are going to study about the human respiratory system. So today we will go into the details of the digestion in case of human beings. See, before going into the details of this particular digestion process, let me tell you first of all the process of digestion, or you can say the definition of digestion. If somebody asks you what is meant by the digestion, you can define this particular digestion as digestion is nothing but the conversion of the complex, non-diffusible, non-absorbable substances into the simple, absorbable and diffusible substances. That is known as the digestion. That is how you can define. Now, as far as the different types of the steps of digestion are there, there are 5 different steps are there. So let me tell you regarding that. The very first step is called as the ingestion. And what is meant by the ingestion? Ingestion means what? Taking the food inside the mouth cavity is known as ingestion. Very first step. Then second step is called as the digestion. The second step is known as the digestion. What is meant by digestion? That definition already I told you. The digestion is of two types. One is called as the mechanical digestion, and the second type is known as the chemical digestion. Once the food enters into our mouth cavity, we are doing the process of mastication. Mastication means what? The chewing of a food into the smaller pieces with the help of your teeth is known as mastication, which is nothing but your mechanical digestion. Then another part of mechanical digestion, it is concerned with your stomach. The stomach basically churns the food into the still smaller particle. That is also kind of mechanical digestion. So mechanical digestion consists of two different parts. One is called as the mastication, which occurs into your mouth, and the second process that is in the stomach, that is known as the churning movement. Churning means what? Grinding the food. Second, chemical digestion basically starts from your mouth region, because your saliva also contains the enzyme. One enzyme is there that is known as a salivary amylase, which converts the starch into maltose. So that kind of digestion is called as chemical digestion. So the process of digestion begins right from your mouth, then stomach and the small intestine. So this is known as the chemical digestion. Now the third step, that is called as the absorption. Now let us understand what is meant by the absorption. See, once the food is digested, the carbohydrates are digested into glucose, the fats are digested into the glycerol and fatty acids. All these compounds should be absorbed into your bloodstream. That is known as absorption. All the digested food goes into your blood through your small intestine. That is known as absorption. And the next step, that is called as the assimilation. It is known as assimilation. See, what is mean by assimilation? Whenever the absorbed food, it becomes a part of your protoplasm. A part of your protoplasm, that is known as assimilation. Just for example, I can tell you, once you digested the carbohydrate into what? Into a glucose. When you eat carbohydrate broken down into maltose, maltose gets converted into what? It gets converted into a glucose. And this glucose then gets converted into what? It gets converted into ATP. And this ATP becomes a part of your protoplasm, which is used by the body or the cell. That is known as assimilation. Then the last step is known as the egestion. It is the last step of the process of digestion. Egestion means what? Throwing of undigested food from the alimentary canal, that is known as the egestion. So these are the different steps. As far as the MCQs are concerned, you may have the MCQs related to the ingestion process, which is the anterior part of your alimentary canal. You can remember what are the different types of teeth are there, what is the basic formula for that. Same is the case with the digestion, the name of different types of enzymes. You have to focus on, you can say, a micro part of this particular the processes as well as the chemical reactions and the name of different parts. Just to give the brief idea regarding the process of digestion, I will play here certain video, and during this video I will explain that how this particular process of the digestion occurs into the human beings. Now let us start with the video first, and during this particular part I will explain the process of digestion. Now let us play this particular video. Now, as far as the process of digestion is there, here you can have this animation. The food is basically goes into your mouth. From mouth it goes to your esophagus. You can see the process. This is your liver, the largest exocrine gland of your body. Then it goes to your stomach. From stomach it goes to the small intestine. You know, it is a 6 meter long. And then it goes to the large intestine and the small intestine, and finally the out. You can see the labeling over here. This is the esophagus. Then this is the stomach. This is the large intestine. You can see here the small intestine. This is the rectum, and finally the anus. So let us see right from the beginning, right from the first part of your alimentary canal, which is known as the mouth. You can see the salivary glands here, different types of salivary glands. This is the pancreas, which is the associated glands. Just begin with the mouth and the buccal cavity. Now this is the ingestion process, where the food is broken down into the smaller pieces. It is masticated over there. You know, I use the word mastication. Mastication means what? It is the breaking of food into the smaller pieces, during which your teeth are helpful into this process. Your tongue also plays the important role for grinding this particular food particle, mixing the saliva with the food. So action of saliva on the food takes place. You know, the salivary glands secrete the saliva, which contains the digestive enzyme. So these are the three different pairs of salivary gland. This is the parotid, then sublingual and lingual. Then saliva convert the starch into the simple substances, say for example maltose. So here again a kind of, you can say, the repetition of this particular process. It doesn't mean that directly we can't swallow the food. First you have to masticate that, convert into smaller pieces. And then once the food is masticated well, it gets converted into food bolus, and that bolus enters into the next part of your alimentary canal, which is known as the esophagus. This is known as esophagus. You can see the movement of the food over here. This is the epiglottis, which covers the trachea, that is your windpipe, and food is by peristaltic movement. It is going toward the stomach. You can see this is a large liver. Now once the food goes into your stomach, the gastric juice is secreted. This is gastric juice, which contains the different types of enzyme, and mostly it contains the HCl also, which is very concentrated type of HCl is there. That's why the pH over here in the stomach ranges from 1.5 to 2, the pH of this particular stomach. See, once the food enters into this, sometimes the larger particles are there. So that particle, with the help of enzyme and HCl, it is softened and it is still broken down into the smaller pieces. Because if you are in a hurry, we eat the food material very fast. Most of the time it happens. but rest of the work is done by your stomach. Now here you can see the gastric juice is pushing out to the stomach. The food moves to the next part of your small intestine. You know the small intestine, it is further divided into three parts. The very first part, which is C-shaped, that is known as the duodenum, then jejunum and the ileum. So here you can see the liver secreting the bile juice over here. You can see the movement. The pancreas, that is also secreting the pancreatic juice. So here you can see the largest gland. You can move this particular thing. It is the benefit of video lectures that you can see the 3D, you can see the animated things. Here you can see the hepatic duct is there. This is the hepatic duct. To this, the pancreatic duct is attached. This is the pancreas. So hepatic duct and pancreatic duct meets at one point, and then it joins to the small intestine into the region that is known as the duodenum, the very first part of your small intestine. So this is how you can say this is the pancreas. It is the dual organ. It is also called as the heterocrine gland because it is exocrine as well as endocrine. Then you can see the movement of the food inside your small intestine. It is quite long. It is almost 6 meters in length. That is the small intestine. See, now the small intestine doing the process of what? Doing the process of absorption. Whatever the food is digested, it should be absorbed into your body with the help of a specialized structure which is known as the villi. If you look at inside the small intestine, you can see such type of finger-like projections which is known as the villi. And in this villi, you can see there is a lot of blood supply is there. This is the blood supply. The food, once it is absorbed, it goes into your bloodstream. And through this blood, it travels the different parts of your body. Now here you can see the blood. The RBCs are flowing, the WBCs are flowing, and along with that, a lot of food. Food means what? Amino acids, the vitamins are there, minerals are there, the salts are there, glucose is there. Everything goes into your blood, and the job of this blood to supply these parts to the different parts. And as far as the large intestine is there, it is known as the colon. Then from the small intestine it moves into the ascending colon, then transverse colon, and then to the descending colon, and finally it comes to the rectum. Then there is a morning rituals that everybody performs, that is known as the digestion, the last part of your digestive system. So this is, you can say, an overall view of the process of digestion. See, if you want to remember these kind of things in short, I can tell you certain type of tricks are there, which mostly applicable in case of biology. When you study the different type of processes, you can remember, you can summarize these things into the small words. I will use a certain example for digestion. It is known as the MB base law. So let us understand what is meant by MB base law. It is just a kind of word. M means mouth, B means buccal cavity, that is the oral cavity, P means pharynx, E means esophagus, S means the small intestine, another S means the stomach, L means the large intestine, R stands for rectum, and finally the A stands for anus. Now this is the alimentary canal. You know, alimentary canal is a tubular structure which starts from your mouth and ends with the anus. So what you can do? You can remember the mouth involves which kind of process? That is the ingestion. The buccal cavity, that is the oral cavity, which involves the different types of processes and the different types of organs. So it becomes very easy to remember this kind of, you can say, the lengthy words into the smaller part. Then the light has already gone, but don't worry, my lecture will be still continued. Next part is the LG, a smartphone. So normally in Hindi we say that the MBBS Lara ने LG का smartphone purchase किया. If you remember this word, you can remember all digestion. L stands for liver, G stands for your gallbladder, then the S stands for salivary gland, and P stands for pancreas. Okay. Now this is the end of this particular lesson. You can say this is the kind of a summary. Next time we will study another lesson concerned with the human physiology, that is called as the human respiratory system or human respiration. Till that time, goodbye, all the best.